Sometimes betrayal doesn't arrive with screams and scandals. It sneaks in quietly. A three-line message, unfamiliar names, faces that used to be close. When your past is wiped away behind your back, there's no need to shout in return. Sometimes silence is louder than revenge. He didn't clench his fists or scheme in the dark. While others lost their minds trying to hold on to what was collapsing, he chose the path of calm destruction, precise, silent, lethal to those who mistook his silence for weakness. While some still clung to illusions, he was drawing final lines in bank accounts, door locks, and reputations. Hello, my friend. I'm so glad you stopped by my channel. If you're here for the first time, don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends or family. It really helps my channel a lot. Please tell me in which city or country you watch this video. I value every one of your comments. So, let's get started. At 3 a.m., my phone buzzed on the nightstand. Half asleep, I reached for it and saw Emma's name glowing on the screen. Instantly, I was wide awake. She was supposed to be in Las Vegas, celebrating Lauren's bachelorette weekend. 5 women sharing an absurdly overpriced hotel suite, indulging in spa days, and a packed itinerary of champagne-soaked festivities. I hadn't anticipated hearing from her until her flight home on Sunday. The message preview was brief. Don't wait up. I opened it, unsettled. Just married Dylan. Been seeing him nearly a year. You made it easy. Deadbeat, boring life. Enjoy the house, loser. I'm gone. Attached was a photo. Emma and Dylan, the smug co-worker I had always distrusted, beaming under cheap neon lights outside a gaudy Vegas chapel, proudly displaying a marriage license like a trophy. I stared at the screen for 20 seconds or more. No surge of anger, no ache of sadness, only a sharp, startling clarity. I typed a single word in reply. Thanks. Without hesitation, I got to work. Emma had never concerned herself with finances. That had always been left to me. The house, our so-called shared account, the utilities, even the credit cards, all were in my name. By 3:20 a.m., I had revoked her access to every card, secured all accounts, and changed every password she might know, from her email to Uber, and anything else linked to her identity. By 4:10, I was on the phone with a locksmith. I paid extra for emergency service. By 5:15, the locks were changed and the garage code reset. I hadn't touched her belongings yet. That would come later, carefully and without spite. Before returning to bed, I drafted a courteous email to her company's HR department. Subject: concerning Dylan Fraser's conduct. I attached the photo. No explanation necessary. Their corporate policies were firm. No romantic involvement between employees and management. As I lay there, watching the ceiling lighten with the coming dawn, I thought of how Dylan had married my wife at a kitschy Vegas chapel with a plastic Elvis presiding. I wondered how long their fantasy would last. Around 7 a.m., my phone started ringing. Emma had likely realized something wasn't right. I ignored the first call. A second one followed a few minutes later, then a barrage of texts, not yet furious, but bewildered. My card was declined. What's going on? Adrian? Call me. Now. I muted the phone and continued working. The bank confirmed that the accounts were secure. I quietly moved the remaining funds. What she assumed was our joint account was legally mine alone. I had maintained that illusion for years. No disputes, no fraud, just a clean, silent severance. Next was her car. The lease was in my name. Using the app, I disabled remote access and flagged the vehicle for repossession. Transportation would be her new problem. Around 8:45, Dylan's number appeared on my screen. I let it go to voicemail. He left nothing but empty silence. Then I called Derek, my lawyer. He picked up almost immediately. You good? He asked. He already knew. She did it, I confirmed. Vegas wedding? Dylan Fraser from work? He said, already moving forward. No need for more questions. Within an hour, he sent over the post-nuptial agreement we had prepared years ago, the one Emma had signed without hesitation. I never really believed it would come to this. Before noon, I had surveillance cameras installed at every entry point, linked directly to my phone. Room by room, I cataloged her possessions. I'd pack them later, calmly, meticulously. By lunchtime, I sat with a sandwich, scrolling through live camera feeds. Another call came in. This time, Emma left a voicemail. "Adrian, what are you doing? This is financial abuse. Call me." I didn't respond. She made her choices. I was just securing my ground. The next morning, still asleep, I missed multiple calls. When I checked the security footage, I saw her trying the front door, then the garage keypad. Locked out. She lingered for a few minutes before disappearing. Around 10:30, there was a firm knock. 3 deliberate, authoritative strikes. Definitely not a neighbor. I opened the door to find 2 police officers, one older, seasoned, resting his hands on his belt, the other younger, still fresh-faced. "You Adrian Hunt?" the older one asked. "I am," I replied. "We got a call about a possible domestic issue. Your wife claims she's been locked out without access to her property. Can we step inside?" I moved aside. "Of course, but she's no longer my wife." The officers exchanged a glance before turning back to me. I handed over my phone, already queued to Emma's Vegas message. The older officer read it carefully, frowning slightly at her words. "Just married Dylan. Been seeing him almost a year." His eyebrows lifted when he saw the photo of them flashing their marriage license under neon lights. I calmly laid out the facts, the timestamp, her written confession, their Vegas marriage. I pointed out that her belongings remained untouched inside. The house title, bank accounts, credit lines, all legally in my name. She held no ownership, only permission. They listened closely, sifting through the details. Whatever they had expected, it clearly wasn't this. One of them asked where she was staying now. I answered that she wasn't welcome here anymore. That seemed to satisfy them. They mentioned she alleged I had stolen her property, the cards, the car. I explained without emotion that every item was registered solely to me and that I had the documentation to prove it. They made no move to argue. The older officer handed my phone back. "Sounds like something for the lawyers to sort out," he said. "I think so too," I replied. "Her things will be packed and waiting in the garage later today." They gave a stiff nod and departed without another word. I turned the deadbolt behind them and went back to my desk. It was close to 3 in the afternoon when Emma showed up. I caught the whole approach on the security camera before they even reached the door. Emma, Dylan, and a third person I didn't recognize at first glance. She looked enough like Emma to be related, but more worn down, her sister, Chloe. The 3 of them stood uneasily on the porch, like defendants awaiting a verdict. Emma looked rough, the same clothes she wore in the Vegas photo, eyeliner smudged, and flip-flops hanging off her feet. Dylan had the hollow look of a man realizing the honeymoon was over before it had properly begun. He kept shifting his weight, nervously checking his phone as though willing himself elsewhere. I cracked the door just wide enough to step outside and pulled it shut behind me. No point inviting the chaos indoors. "Adrian," Emma started, her voice a strained mix of fatigue and performance. "This is ridiculous. You locked me out of my own home." I crossed my arms. "You married someone else in Vegas, Emma. That usually comes with a change of locks." "You don't have the right," she protested. "I absolutely do," I interrupted. "The house is in my name. The bank accounts too. Your personal belongings are boxed up in the garage. You have an hour and a half to collect them." Chloe took a step forward, her voice sharp with judgment. "You're being cruel. She made a mistake. People screw up." "Chloe, stop," Emma hissed, turning back to me. "You're trying to wreck me financially. That's abuse." Dylan finally opened his mouth, tentative. "Look, man, we're just here to grab her stuff. No need to make this worse." I leveled a hard stare at him. "Stay quiet. Load up and leave." He opened his mouth as if to respond, then thought better of it and said nothing. They acted like my words didn't sting, but their body language betrayed them. Emma shot Dylan a glance as they made their way to the garage. When they opened it and saw the neatly packed boxes, Chloe muttered under her breath, "Wow, you really went all out." "I prefer order," I said simply. They began loading the boxes into a rental van. About an hour later, my phone buzzed. A declined transaction notification, U-Haul, $89, rejected on Emma's card, still clinging to old tricks. In the end, Dylan paid. His face was tight, jaw locked the entire time. I didn't bother with goodbyes. As their van pulled away, I pressed the button to lower the garage door. By the end of that week, the real battle began. Emma launched a PR campaign, tearful Instagram posts, emotional Facebook videos, vague, insinuating stories. Always the same message. Adrian was a cold, unfeeling husband who drove her into the arms of someone who actually cared. Chloe amplified everything, adding hashtags like "Believe Women" and captions like "You never know what's hidden behind closed doors." For a short while, a few people believed her. Some friends sent cautious texts, ostensibly checking on me, though their tone suggested they weren't really sure whose side to be on. I didn't say a word. No public rebuttals. I played a longer game. 3 days later, I uploaded a set of screenshots, conversations between Emma and Dylan, pulled from an old laptop she hadn't cleared before syncing it to our shared cloud. It was damning material. "I'm draining that idiot's grocery money. He doesn't even notice. Might buy the dress with it. He still thinks I'm at that yoga retreat. What a joke." And my personal favorite. "I'll just say he was emotionally distant. No one questions that." Classic divorce playbook. I didn't broadcast it. I sent the file discreetly to the right people, her boss, close friends, even Chloe. The effect was immediate. Chloe deleted every post she'd shared. Emma's accounts went private before the day was out. A couple of friends who had ghosted me resurfaced in the group chat with apologies. One messaged privately, "Damn, I had no clue she was that calculated." Then came the real fallout. An HR contact from their company forwarded me an internal memo. Dylan had been terminated. Apparently, what I'd shared had kicked off a formal investigation, not just the inappropriate relationship, but suspicious financial activities too. Emma was fired as well. Zero tolerance. HR didn't play around. Emma must have panicked. That night, she tried sneaking back in through the side gate. New security cameras captured everything, her screaming, shaking the gate, yelling that I owed her. I sent the footage to Derek, my attorney. His response was terse. "You're bulletproof. Sit tight." So I did. The following day, Emma sent one final message. "You destroyed everything. Hope you're proud." I didn't reply. Just archived it and kept moving forward. The courtroom smelled like old carpet and stale air. No theatrics, no music, just raw tension. Emma walked in wearing a crisp white blouse, as if trying to project innocence. Dylan was nowhere to be seen. Word was he'd moved to Scottsdale to start over with someone else. Her attorney, a young guy who still looked like he lived off instant noodles, stood up and began tossing around buzzwords: emotional duress, psychological abuse. "Your Honor," he said, "my client was manipulated into a Vegas wedding by a man who convinced her marriage was already dead." The judge, a woman in her 60s, clearly with no patience for nonsense, arched an eyebrow. "Is this the same man she admits to having an affair with for 11 months before that wedding?" The lawyer stumbled. "Well, yes, but—" "That's sufficient." She cut him off, then turned to us. "Mr. Hunt, your counsel submitted 74 pages of evidence. Can you confirm their authenticity?" Derek stood. "Yes, Your Honor. Texts, emails, time-stamped photos, all synced voluntarily to Mr. Hunt's cloud. No coercion. No tampering." The judge thumbed through the binder, paused at a flagged section, and read aloud, can't wait to watch his dumb face when I drain him dry." Emma flinched. Her lawyer had no counter-argument. "Ms. Hunt," the judge said coolly, "is there any context you'd like to offer for this statement?" Emma didn't lift her gaze. The judge finalized the divorce, granting me full control over our shared assets. Emma walked away with nothing but her personal possessions. I was also awarded 6 months of interim spousal support and reimbursement for the vocational program I had paid for the year before, the same program she never bothered to finish. Outside the courtroom, Chloe kept her eyes down, refusing to meet mine. Emma's mother hurled accusations of betrayal and invoked divine judgment. I didn't so much as glance back. As I stepped through the doors, Derek leaned in toward me. "Thinking about hanging that Vegas selfie on the wall?" he murmured. I smirked. Already framed. 3 weeks after the decree, I sold the house. A cash offer came in, well over the listing price, thanks to the blistering market. I didn't haggle. I packed my belongings, signed the paperwork, and handed the keys to a couple from Seattle who gushed about the house's positive energy. Strange, considering the history soaked into those walls. I moved into a condo downtown. It's smaller, but the view's better, and it's free of ghosts. About 2 weeks after settling in, Chloe sent a text. Short and to the point. "I'm sorry. I didn't know everything. I believed her. That was my mistake." I replied, "We all learned something. It was the last time we spoke." From what I've gathered, Emma moved back in with her mother and picked up a part-time job at a yoga studio. As for Dylan, his name has mostly faded away. Rumor has it he tried to contest his termination and got nowhere. Apparently, HR had a laundry list of issues with him beyond just the affair. I never chased revenge. Didn't have to. The truth did more damage than I ever could have engineered. I've started dating again, though nothing serious yet. There's a woman at my gym, Sienna. She's sharp, easygoing, and actually listens when you speak. On our first date, I told her everything. She laughed, not out of cruelty, but with the kind of understanding that comes from having paid her own price for peace. Sometimes I go back and reread the message Emma sent from Vegas. I tucked it away in a folder, just in case. Every time I look at it, I remember the calm that settled over me after I read it. She thought she was striking a match. Instead, she handed me a fire extinguisher and the keys to freedom. Not bad, right? Yeah, not bad at all. This story has come to an end. What's your opinion? Share it in the comments, my friend. And if you like this story, check out other exciting videos on my channel. I'll say goodbye until the next video. See you.